think this is the first fight for Liam since the loss to Chris Eubanks, which I want to say was about a year ago or close to it, maybe a
Do you
little
know
less than a
what?
year.
Yeah, I checked
And
this out. I
yeah,
did a little bit of research on this because one of the questions I wanted to ask you was that it's about 18 months, actually. I got it down as September 2023 when he fought Eubank Jr. that second time. So that's like almost
has it
18
been that
months.
long?
Yeah. No, I
Wow.
think it was.
Wow.
I think it was due to have another fight, but he had a virus and he had to drop out of a fight
Right.
since then. But yeah, I think it'd be 18 months. And my question to you really was, that's quite a big layoff. Is that something that's actually quite difficult to overcome as a pro fighter?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've seen, look, Sugar Ray Leonard came off of a 3.5 year retirement to beat Marvin Hagler. So, I don't think inactivity really has anything to do with it, providing you're well prepared. I mean, obviously, being well prepared is the key. And a prime example of that is, dealing with the injuries that he had, being overweight, being forced into that rematch with Eubank when he wasn't really ready for that. His body wasn't ready. That was just as damaging. That was even more damaging, and he was active at that point. So now he's healed. His back is good. He didn't go to fat camp. He went to training camp, so he was able to work on things and go right into work and prepare for the fight. His weight is good, so and he's got world-class sparring. So I don't think it's a problem. And I think if they would have seen a problem in the gym, I think they would have identified it and not put him into the ring. So, I feel fully confident that he's ready, and I think we're going to see the old Liam Smith and not an old Liam Smith.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was, again, it's because it's been so long, he's obviously got himself completely ready. Do you think this fight against McKenna is actually quite a difficult fight for his first fight back after 18 months?
Yeah, of course it is. But, these are the kind of fights you've got to take when you're at his level. I don't think he's the kind of guy that needs to have a tune-up. He does his tune-ups in the gym. He spars with world-class guys and gets ready in the gym. You don't have to take a fight to get ready, right? So he knows where he is in the pecking order of boxing. He knows where McKenna is. And McKenna, they're taking their step up as well, on a young, talented pro career. They're taking their step up to fight somebody like Liam Smith, who they think has been inactive, who's perhaps past his sell-by date now, if you will, and they're taking a chance. And, a loss to him will set their plans back, a few years now, if he doesn't get by Liam Smith. So they're taking their chance. Beefy's taking his chance. And that's what boxing is supposed to be about. It's always been a history of the young guns trying to take over from the old guard. So I don't think anything has changed here. And, we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the vast gap in experience, I was looking at sort of Liam's fights, and Liam's fought top fighters. I've got him down as Alvarez. He's fought Munguia. I mean, he's fought Chris Eubank. I don't know whether you consider Chris Eubank as being a top fighter, but he's fought some class fighters.
Sure, Jesse Vargas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that there's a similar gulf in ability between the fighters as there is in a gulf in the experience that they've got?
I'll ask you to re-ask the question, so I'm sure I understand what you mean.
Yeah. Okay. So
rephrase
when you look at of course. So when you look at the experience of the two fighters, I would have Liam Smith as having vast experience compared with Aaron McKenna.
Of course.
So what I'm asking is, do you think that there is a similar gulf between their technical abilities as fighters, as there is in the experience that they've currently got?
No, I don't think so, because I think McKenna is a talented kid.
He's 22, right?
Yeah, and he's a talented kid. He's well schooled. He knows what he's doing in a boxing ring. Whatever he does well, the only thing that could derail that would be his lack of experience. And that's what Beefy's going to have to hope to exploit as well. So, no, I don't think that there's the same gap. There's a massive, as you called it, a gulf between their experience. But on a skill level, like I said, it's a young gun against the old guard. The young gun has to pass this test if he wants to move on. And if he doesn't, he gets set back, and Beefy moves on to a bigger fight down the road, and proves that he's back and deserves to be back. So I don't think that the disparity between the two is the same in skill set as it is in experience.
Okay, so I mean, bearing all of that in mind, and of course, you're going to come down firmly in Liam's corner. But if you could be completely unbiased about everything, and we were putting money on this, which way do you see this going? Do you think the experience will slightly outweigh, or give Liam that advantage over McKenna? Can you see it possibly swinging the other way, or do you think it's a Liam Smith fight all the way through?
Look, first of all, yes, I am in Liam's corner. Obviously, anything I say, anybody will interpret as being biased, no matter what I say. But I'm telling you that as honest as I can be as a fight guy, despite being in Liam's corner, Liam Smith has always been one of my favorite fighters to work with. Like throughout my 45 years in this game, he embodied the style of boxing that I loved as a trainer. And he embodied that work ethic and that competitiveness. So for me, I'm always, whether I was in his corner or not, will always have favored Liam Smith in this fight based on experience, based on style, based on any of that stuff. I favor him in this fight. I think he has all the tools necessary, and I think in terms of a style matchup, I think it's conducive for him. I think it's a good style matchup for him. Add to that the experience, I think that's even more. That said, and that's why odds makers are out there, and that's why these matches are so interesting. You always have to wonder, when does a fighter push it one fight too many? How much has he lost? Has that split second, and when you lose that split second, it means the world in a professional boxing ring. Has he lost that split second, and can McKenna, at his firing best, at his reflexive best, at prime of his physical shape in his life, be able to capitalize on that? Those are the questions to ask. But for me, if I had to put my $2 down on a fight, I'm always going to bet Liam Smith, because he's always been one of my favorite guys, and that's the guy that I'm always going to stick with. And like I said, he's been a pleasure and an honor to work with these years, and I'm always going to support him.
Well, of course, you've worked with well, I say all of the Smiths, or is it just Liam and Callum that you've worked with?
I've actually been in the corner for at least one fight of all the Smith brothers. Paul Smith, I was in a couple of his corners, including his fight with Andre Ward. Stephen Smith, when he fought in Vegas against Pedraza, I believe. And there might have been another one. There might have been two fights with Stephen. And of course, Callum and Liam. Callum and Liam have been the one I've been involved with the most. But yeah, it's definitely a family affair, and the relationship has just been fantastic. And I do owe a debt of gratitude, I think, to Joe Gallagher, who brought me in at the very beginning, and we made this a long-term relationship, and I'm very proud of that.
I'm going to throw in a really, really kind of cheeky question here. Then, since you've worked with all the Smith brothers, let me put you on the spot. Of all the Smith brothers that you've worked with, which one do you think has shown the most sort of boxing prowess? Which is the top-notch boxer? And listen, there's a good chance that nobody of the Smith brothers are going to watch this on our channel, so you can be pretty ballsy and say what you want. And if you don't like it, we'll cut it out anyway. We'll edit it, I promise you. But between you and I, if you had to pick one, which one would you pick?
Listen, I think even the Smiths themselves will concede that Callum is the big ticket guy.